Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on this not so beautiful Thursday here in Columbia, South Carolina, and wherever you are. We appreciate the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles joining us today. Their IFTA IRP team is going to lead us on a discussion about new accounts. This is one of those things that SCTA does as an added benefit for our members and for the community, and we appreciate you participating. This event is being recorded so that we can use it later to help educate others. I would like to say that if any of you have questions at any time, please feel free to either unmute or send us a chat through the chat box, and we'll answer those as quickly as possible. I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Price right this moment, who's going to introduce himself and his team who are here to present today. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Taryn, for welcoming us and giving us this opportunity to talk to our trucking community. As she stated, I'm Jamie Price. I'm the Chief of Motor Carrier Services here at the South Carolina DMV. Today, we're going to go over new accounts and try to get ahead of taking care of some of the challenges that people have with establishing new accounts. But today I'm going to have Amber King talk to you about it. Amber is the supervisor here in our operations team inside Motor Carrier Services. So all of the stuff that we submit, Amber is the person that is in charge of helping your documents and everything get processed. Enough of me talking. I'm gonna let the subject matter expert, Amber, go ahead and begin. Amber, it's on you.
Good morning, everybody. As he stated, we're gonna go over the new accounts. So today we're gonna go over how you get to the portal, how you create your username and password, registering into the portal, completing your forms, uploading supplemental documents, how to do your electronic signature, and submitting to DMV for review. We're also going to go over what happens when your account gets denied, how you make those corrections, and what to do once the account is approved. So to get to the portal, you're going to go to the SCDMV online website and click on Business Customers, and then click on Motor Carriers. So once you're on the Motor Carriers webpage, you'll click the second green box that says apply for a new IFTA and IRP account. Once you're on the new account web portal, you'll create a username and login. If you've never logged into the portal before, click here to create one. Enter your first and last name along with your email address. Create a username and password. The password cannot have any of the following special characters: your @ symbol, a £, a percentage symbol, an upwards arrow, or an apostrophe. Your username also cannot be your email address. Once you've filled in all fields, select I'm not a robot and hit save. You're then going to be directed to the electronic signature agreement. By accepting this agreement, you are agreeing that the documents you sign are accurate and real, filled out correctly to the applicant's knowledge, and you are agreeing to electronically and submit the documents to DMV. So if this is your first time logging in, you will select open a new IRP and IFTA account. Accounts that have previously been submitted and denied will appear under My In Progress IRP and IFTA accounts. So this is the registration page. The information that you put on this page is used to pre-populate your forms. The applicant type selected here will later in the application filter out the proofs of residency types. So if you select business, it's going to filter out the proofs of residency we accept for a business. If you select personal, it's going to filter out the proofs of residency we accept for a personal account. A common problem we have with the new accounts is who they list as the contact name. The person that is submitting their driver's license must be the contact person. All other persons wanting to be listed on the account will use the MC-25 Power of Attorney form. If a service provider is completing the application on behalf of the carrier, they cannot put their name here. Title is the name you call yourself, whether it's owner, CEO, president, etc. If your mailing address and your physical address are the same, you can use the checkbox, same as physical address. Once all fields have been filled in, you can hit save. So determining what type of account you need, whether it's just the IRP or just the IFTA, is going to depend on whose authority you're using. If you're going to use your own authority, you must apply for both IRP and IFTA. If you will lease and use someone else's DOT number, then you have the option to only apply for IRP if they are going to file the IFTA for you. If they say they are not going to file the IFTA for you, then you must apply for both accounts. So an example of this is going to be like, say, my business, Rose Trucking LLC, wants to open the new account, but they're going to be running under Mr. Johnson's USDOT number. But Mr. Johnson stated that he is not going to be supplying the IFTA decals. In this scenario, Rose Trucking LLC must apply for both the IRP and IFTA. So I know this is quite confusing for a lot of people, so I did want to stop here and see just if anybody had any questions about it.
Hey, everyone, this is often a problem that creates a lot of questions in people's creating their accounts. So if you have any questions, please, this is a perfect time to ask. I don't see anyone having any questions, so we're going to go ahead and continue.
Okay, so after you select the type of account you want, you'll then answer a series of questions. If you answer no to any of the questions, such as a vehicle being titled in South Carolina, you will receive an alert box telling you that you must call DMV before you continue. It is also very important that the gross vehicle weight that you put here is correct, because again, this information will pre-populate onto your forms. If you enter in the wrong gross vehicle weight here, you must then manually enter your information on the forms to change it. Gross vehicle weight is the maximum amount of weight a carrier will haul. That includes the truck, trailer, and the heaviest load they plan to carry. Okay, so now we've made it through the registration portion of the application. You will now click on each form and enter any data that was not captured in the registration questionnaire. You'll start by clicking on the first form, which is SCDMV form IRP 8. Instructions for each form is listed at the top, labeled instructions. On this form, the vehicle owner and initials at the bottom are required to be filled in by the carrier. Save and continue once you've done so. All the forms that have been updated by the carrier will turn green and say completed once you save them. You will notice the packet starts to build on the right-hand side. Do not go into the right-hand side under attachments to make your corrections. They do not save on that side. If something needs to be changed, you will have to click the green completed arrow to go back into the form and make the necessary corrections. The IRP Schedule AE page 1 is the first time you really get to see the information from the registration page populated onto your forms. The only information that was not captured in the registration page was the insurance and your operation type. The carrier will have to enter in their insurance company name and policy number and then select their type of operation. If you are leased using another carrier's USDOT number, you will only select the box under the Lease To section. The IRP Schedule AE page 2 is mostly blank. This is a common form we see submitted to the DMV blank. This page will be completed with all information pertaining to the vehicle that you're trying to register. At the bottom, you'll fill in the date. Your signature will be done in another task later in the process as stated in your instructions. For the most part, your IRP Schedule B will be filled in from your registration page. A common mistake on this form is not checking one of the two check boxes in the right-hand corner. If you've never had an IRP account before in any jurisdiction, you will select box 2 using APVD. Be sure to date at the bottom of the form. If you've had an IRP account in another jurisdiction before, you will select box 1, actual miles, and then fill in the miles per jurisdiction that you ran for the requested reporting period. The reporting period is always July 1st to June 30th of the previous year. The current reporting period is July 1st of 2020 to June 30th, 2021. So this is the IFTA 13, but once you place your initials on the IRP 8 form, they will carry over automatically to the IFTA 13 form. So the IFTA 13 at this point does not need any other corrections, and you can just save and continue the form. The IFTA 1, page 1 is an instruction page. The page explains what all transactions can be processed using this form. Opening a new account, requesting additional IFTA details, and renewing an established IFTA account. It will also explain the documents needed when processing those transactions. The IFTA 1, page 2 is going to be majority pre-populated from the registration page. You are required to check the original IFTA application, first-time applicant, and check your type of ownership. Under names of business owners, partners, or officer, complete your name and title, social security number, home address, and phone number, and then answer the question yes or no to do you maintain bulk storage in South Carolina? The IFTA 1, page 3, you're required to check the very first box, all jurisdictions. Answer the question, have you had an IFTA license in another jurisdiction? And under the additional box, you will enter the number of decals you are requesting. You'll receive one set of decals per vehicle placed into the IRP account. Date at the bottom is always required. Save and continue when done. So the MC26 is not listed as a required form, but it is encouraged by motor carriers for those who are wanting to process transactions online. So page 1 is going to autofill itself. Page 2, you'll need to check employee of carrier and fill in your email address. Page 3, you'll print your name, fill in your title and date. Carrier signature will be done in another task later in the application. Save and continue once all pages have been completed. The MC7 form is very important. This form is going over record keeping, how long to keep your records, and what records are acceptable to present. We often get calls about record keeping when carriers have signed that they've read this form. Save and continue once you've read and dated the form. Jamie, did you want to go?
Yes. Hey, it is very, very important that we pay attention to the instructions that is on this form. Often when it comes to time for renewal, when it comes to time to audit, the instructions in this form tells you how you need to maintain your records, and if there's other information, how long you need to maintain your records, what records you need to maintain, so on and so forth. So it's very important when you sign this, you keep a copy of this, because we often see in the audit process, people are not aware, or the renewal process, they state that they're not aware that they should have these records. In this agreement, about preparing and maintaining records, that's what everyone signs and says they do. So please, please, please pay close attention to what this says. That's all I have to say about it. Any questions about the MC7? I don't see any hands raised and no one is talking, so we'll go ahead and continue.
So at this point, all of your forms have been completed. So far, everything that's on the right-hand side is what is being sent to DMV for review. The next part is uploading your driver's license and insurance card. The contact name that you supplied on your forms will need to upload their driver's license here. The proof of insurance must show the VIN number, policy number, and insurance company name to be accepted. Dates of coverage will also need to be current. So you'll click on the arrow next to upload copy of driver's license. You'll browse your file to find where you saved the driver's license, and then you'll click attach to your packet. Same thing with the insurance card. You'll click the arrow next to proof of insurance. You'll browse for where you saved the insurance card, and then you'll click attach it to your packet. So again, this is just a glance at everything that we've completed and attached to the packet so far. Again, everything that's listed under attachments on the right-hand side. If you need to edit something, you have to edit it on the left-hand side by going back into the task. If you try to edit it on the right-hand side, it does not save. Okay, so next we're going to go over the proofs of residency. So from the list, the carrier will select 3 proofs of residency to use. They'll upload the proofs of residency just like they did the driver's license and the insurance card. The proofs of residency type, again, will filter depending on which account type you selected on your registration page. If you chose business, it populates acceptable business proofs. If you chose individual, it will populate individual proofs. So in the screenshot here, this is populated based off of a business account. So this is one of our main reasons for denial. So we can pause here and discuss any questions that anyone has about proofs of residency and what to be accepted.
Do you want to mention PO boxes, physical addresses?
Okay, so especially for a business, you have to have a brick and mortar building that you run your business out of. So like Terrence said, we don't accept a PO box as your physical business location. You can have a PO box as your mailing address, but as far as the physical address, we don't accept your business being located at a PO box. Therefore, none of your proofs of residency can have the PO box address on them to be accepted. Same thing with a personal account. You can run it out of your home or your apartment, but it still can't be at a PO box. So another thing while we're here is like we run into virtual offices, which essentially is kind of the same thing like a PO box, but also those companies where you can rent office space for like a couple hours a day. So if you have an actual commercial business location, you have to have your location staffed and open during normal business hours. So if we send an auditor to your business location, somebody has to be there and able to present your records during normal business hours. Does anybody have any questions? Did that pretty much hit what you were talking about, Karen?
Yes, actually, you covered all of it. Thank you.
So we'll move on. So again, just another glance at our packet building. So everything that we complete and upload and attach is showing on the right-hand side, and everything on the left-hand side is just showing that we completed the task. So now we'll go into some additional documents. None of these documents are marked for required. They're just supplemental documents depending on a carrier's situation that they may or may not need to upload. So your out-of-state cab card, if you would upload this if you've ever had an IRP account before. A lease permission letter. This is if, say, Amber owns the vehicle, but Jamie's opening the account. So I would need a lease permission letter stating that Amber is allowing her vehicle to go into Jamie's account. A vehicle lease purchase agreement, like if you're lease purchasing a vehicle, the 2290, and your bill of sale. So again, these documents are not uploaded for everyone's packet. That's why they're not marked required. They're just supplemental forms that you may have to upload depending on your situation. Some other forms, your IRP 9 form. This is used when you're running under someone else's authority. So the company whose USDOT number you're going to use will sign off on this form. You, the carrier, will sign off on this form, and then you will upload it here. The IRP 10 is only used when a lease purchase vehicle needs to be used as a proof of residency. So the company who the carrier lease purchased the vehicle from will sign off on the form allowing the carrier to use their vehicle as a proof of residency. The MC-25 power of attorney is optional. The form is used when a carrier has elected for someone else to conduct business in their account.
And that MC-25 is only, the MC-25 is only applicable for post registration. So like once you do your initial, it can be used for renewals.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so next would be how to attach your signature. So scroll down on the packet until you see the subheading complete. Click the arrow next to signature to open the task. Select the radio button next to draw using mouse, finger, or pen, and then draw your signature. Click save when you're done. This will then attach that signature to all the forms where a signature is being asked. Okay, so the next thing to do is send it to the DMV. So you'll hit the arrow next to complete and send to DMV for review. You will receive an email to the email address that you supplied on your registration page, just stating that DMV has received the application and to allow 5 business days for review. So this is an example of that email. So again, once the application is submitted, the carrier receives an email to the email address provided on their registration, on the registration screen that just states DMV has received it and to allow the 5 days for review. So what happens if the application is denied? So to the same email address, the carrier will receive a detailed email stating what on the application needs to be corrected before the DMV can process their application. The email will break down the forms that need to be corrected and what on that form needs to be corrected. Just a side note, if your application gets denied more than once, DMV employees are required to call the carrier each time it gets denied.
I want to add something on that. If it's something simple, what we've been instructed to do, and what the team is instructed to do, is to contact you. Even on the first one, if there's a challenge and it's something that we can fix very quickly. But a majority of our first-time rejections have a lot of things, so we send that back. On that second time, if your request to open an account has been rejected more than once, and you don't receive a call, please let us know immediately so we can rectify that situation. We would definitely want to communicate with our partners out there that are trying to do this, so we can get that information and take care of you in a timely fashion. One of our challenges is it takes us 5 business days to do it. And I know that it's a big challenge for our carriers out there, because they want to get to work. They want to get to doing the things that they need to do. And our ability to communicate with each other is very important. So if there's challenges and you're not getting that, please let us know, and we will make sure we address it and contact you with the proper communication.
Okay. So here, these are just some common reasons that your forms get denied. So on your IRP Schedule AE page 1, we receive it all the time where there's no insurance or policy number on there. And then your AE page 2, we receive it blank. On your IRP Schedule B, neither of the APVD box or actual miles box, neither one of those is checked. The IFTA 1 page 2, we receive it without the original application box being checked. The business owner section, where it asks for your name, title, social security, home address, and phone number, they leave that blank a lot of the time. And on page 3 of the IFTA 1, they're not selecting all jurisdictions, and they're not putting the number of decals that they're requesting. Common reasons for denial for the proofs of residency. A lot of times we receive a property tax notice. We need the actual paid property tax receipt from the county. We receive envelope mail, which we don't accept. Internet and cable bills, we don't accept. The proof of residency list says state or federal taxes. So a lot of times we receive a 1099. We don't accept a 1099. We're looking more so for your 1040. If you're a personal account, we do the 1040. If you're a business account, we do the 1120S and 1040C, and your profit of loss for business form. We also receive a mortgage interest statement, which we don't accept. We just accept their monthly mortgage statement. And then the utility bills, we often receive them over 30 days old. So if you do supply a utility bill, it does have to be within 30 days. Okay, so if your application gets denied, the carrier must log back into their portal account to make the changes. Once you've logged in, you'll select My In Progress, IRP, and IFTA accounts. The carrier will click the pencil to the right to edit or make changes to the packet. Once your changes have been made, they will select Complete and send to DMV for review again. So what to do when the account is approved? Once DMV has approved the application for IRP and IFTA accounts, the carrier will then receive an email letting them know that what their options are to pick up their inventory. They can pay it online as long as the MC-26 was completed within the application. They can go into a branch office that is listed on the email, or they can mail in a check or money order to the headquarters office listed on the email to receive their inventory by mail. Come on. That's all.
All right. That's it, right, Amber?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, anybody, any questions about setting up new accounts or any other questions that you may have? This is the time to have that discussion.
I think you wowed them with all of your detail.
Well, thank you, Ms. Darren.
Thank
Hey,
you, Amber, for putting that presentation together and for walking us through a new account setup.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, and thank you so much for inviting us out. We are going to try our best to communicate and be more proactive in our communications to our partners out there that are trying to set up their motor carrier accounts and do things. All right, we got a question.
Yeah.
Am I muted?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. I have a question about reinstatement. How long? What am I trying to ask here? Well, how long is the lapse before you have to do an actual new account versus a renewal if there's been a lapse?
So once you've established the IRP and IFTA account, you will never go back through this process. So if you've established it, but you stopped using it 20 years ago, the account is still there. So the process for reinstatement, if it's been over 18 months, you do have to supply 3 new proofs of residency, but you would never have to reapply for the accounts.
Okay.
Proofs of residency and any outstanding balances, correct?
Yes.
Are there any other caveats for reinstatement that we didn't just cover?
No.
Okay.
So if you left your IFTA account wide open and you didn't finish paying your quarters, whenever you try to come back in and reinstate, you will have to catch those quarters up before we can make it current.
Okay. And what's the best way to get that information as to like what your balance is? Is that going to be listed in this portal account?
No. If they're a web user, they can go online to see what their balance is. They could go into a field office to check their balance, or they could just simply call us and we could give them that information.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, we thank you. We will save this recording and make it available. And Jamie and Amber, are you okay if we share this presentation with those in attendance?
Yes.
All right. If you'll send that to me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Amber, again, and Jamie. We appreciate you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.